Most of the cooking I do on my boat is with this induction stovetop, and I've had it for about 5 years. And it has 2 burners, and the burner on the left side went out about a year ago. And I was cooking a great big pot of stew in this pot here that you see, and it may have overloaded the stove because it was pretty full, almost to the top, when I was cooking. But another reason that burner went out may be that the pot there is designed for cooking on a gas stove. The bottom's not flat. It actually comes up in the center, and there's an air gap. So that could have had an effect, I'm not sure, but that burner went out about a year ago. Well, I was cooking the other night, another pot of stew on the burner on the right side, and the same thing happened. So now this stove is not working, but it worked for about 4 or 5 years. So it's been good, and they're really inexpensive. You can get them for a couple $100 or less, and sometimes more, depending on what you want. I've seen them as low as about $160. So they are made out of glass. They have a glass top, and that makes them really easy to clean. That's the selling point. They're easy to clean, except for one problem. If you get water on the glass top while you're cooking, and it's hard water, what happens is the water evaporates and it leaves a mineral deposit on the glass, which is very difficult to clean. You actually have to use a razor blade and scrape it off. So here, I'll show you, because this side over here got wet when I was cooking the last time. And you can see that sheen, that white sheen on there. So that's mineral deposits. And so I literally have to take a flat razor blade and scrape that off to clean it. So that's the one problem with these that make them difficult to clean. So when this burner went out on the left side, I'll turn this on here. So the power's on, and I'm turning that on. It's set at 900 watts. It said 900, then it went to E1. E1, I think, is E stands for an error, so that's the error code. And usually what happens is you get that error code if you don't have a metal pot sitting on the burner when you turn it on. You need to have a metal pot on there. Another thing about the metal pot is that it has to have iron in it. If a magnet does not stick to the metal pot that you're using, induction stovetops don't work. A magnet has to stick to them. They have to have iron in them. So even though this is like a stainless steel pot, it does have some iron in it. I have a pressure cooker, and it's stainless steel. It has no iron in it. It will not work on here. What I do with that pressure cooker is I put a skillet down and then put the pressure cooker on top of the skillet, and then the skillet heats up the pressure cooker, and it works great. And so I don't have really any problems with it. So you can do that. So you see it shut itself off. Now this side over here was the same thing now. So I got the same problem here. I can turn it on. I'll hit this. It says 900. That's 900 watts. Goes right to E1. So that's error code E1. I assume that's what that stands for. And now it's not working at all, and then it'll just shut itself off. So there you go. So that's what I got. So I went ahead and ordered another one. I got the same brand, but it's a newer model. And the reason I got the same brand is because of the way it fits in here. It needs to be able to fit, and the new one that I got is the dimensions are slightly different on the underneath side. So I may have to do some modification to the teak frame that I built for this. Now you can see I got this around here. So this is sitting on this is my stove down below, and stove on top, and my oven down below. I have a Ninja convection oven down below, which is awesome. I've cooked a 15-pound turkey in here in 1 hour, and it turned out perfect. So I've done it more than once, but my oven is just awesome. And when my induction stovetop works, it's awesome. But now I got to replace it. So, and this is gimbaled because I'm on a sailboat. So when the boat's heeled over sailing, this will stay level. And so now I'm going to go ahead and take this one out and insert the new stovetop. So we'll see how that goes. As far as safety goes, this is the safest way to cook on a boat. There's no safer way. Most of the older boats have either propane stoves and ovens or alcohol stoves and ovens. Both are very dangerous. I've had 2 alcohol stoves. I had one on my old boat. I had another boat that was a big boat like this, a sailboat. And I went to bed. I cooked dinner, and I went to bed one night, and I was sleeping in my quarter berth, which is adjacent to the galley. And so I could lay in bed, and I could see my galley from my bed. And I was falling asleep, and light was hitting my eyelid. And so I opened up my eyes, and I happened to be just right at the right height where I could see in to the alcohol stove, where you can lift the top up to clean around the burners. And the stove was on fire, and it was inside the stove that was on fire, not on the outside. So after I got done cooking, I thought I'd turn the stove off, but one of the burners, one of the valves going to the burners that control the flame, was leaking, and it was on fire. So I almost went to bed that night with my stove on fire. Luckily, I noticed it. So alcohol stoves can be very dangerous, but when they work good, they cook really well. I mean, just unbelievably good. But now a lot of marinas don't allow them. So the marina I'm in here now, they do not allow alcohol stoves. I've never had a propane stove on a boat. The problem with propane is that if you get a propane leak, propane is heavier than air. And what will happen is it'll sink down. It won't float up. The propane gas will actually sink down and go under your floorboards and start filling up the bilge underneath the floorboards in your boat. And over time, it'll start filling the bilge up and displacing air out of there with propane gas. And there was a guy that sailed around the world, and he sailed back to Sausalito, California, and he was in his 80s by that point. And he just wanted to retire, live on his boat in Sausalito, and he was done with cruising. He got up one morning to make some coffee, and he started up his propane stove. And as soon as he lit the propane stove, he said he saw a flame go from the stove right straight down to the floor, and the boat exploded. It literally tore the entire cabin off of the boat, flung it up in the air, and then the cabin came back down and landed on the lifeline stanchions. So the cabin was like 3 feet above where it normally would sit. The guy actually survived the explosion because he was in the center of the explosion. So he actually survived. I'm sure he probably couldn't hear as well after that. But so propane is really dangerous. And another problem with propane is you always have to fill up the bottles with propane. So you got to go find a place where you can get your bottles refilled. And if you're cruising around the world, you might have problems in some areas. Usually you can get it pretty much anywhere, but there are places that I'm sure you won't be able to. So cooking with electricity is definitely the safest way to go on a boat. And what's nice about induction is it uses magnetic energy to heat up the pot. So the glass itself doesn't get hot. What happens is the pot will get hot. That'll make the glass hot. But there's no flame. There's no way it can catch anything on fire. So it's really safe. It's definitely the way to go. The only thing is you need electricity. So if you have a large solar array and wind turbines and a big battery bank on your boat, like a lithium iron phosphate battery bank, then that is definitely a good way to set up your boat and the safest way to cook. So, and then you don't have to refill propane bottles and have to worry about finding propane. And the same thing with alcohol. The alcohol stove that I was using, when I went to buy alcohol for it, it's not just any alcohol. And I literally, it had cost me as much as $30 a gallon. So very expensive. And so now, unfortunately, this one's not working anymore. So I'm going to have to remove this. Now I have this frame, and this actually came off of my galley-made stove that was in this boat when I bought it. So this boat also had an alcohol stove when I first bought it. I never used it because I had problems in my other boat with my other alcohol stove, and it was the same company that made both of those stoves, called Galley Made. And but I did take this frame off. That keeps, when the boat's at sea and this is sliding around, it keeps any pots or pans from falling off the stove. But you need a way to keep the pot over the burner. Now this is the reason I only can use one of these that have two burners side by side, is because I also took these things that came with the Galley Made, and these are pot holders, and I had to modify them a little bit. It had like an L-shaped screw thing on the end for tightening them down onto this railing, and I didn't have room here between my sink and this railing, so I had to find these little stainless steel kind of like screws, and you can finger tighten them. And so what I do is I just put them in here like that, and that'll hold the pot in place right over the burner. So I got two for this side, and I got two for this side over here. So and I can move them around for the size of the pot that I need. And then I have two that go on the back side to keep it going the other direction. So it works out really well. And so now I'm going to go ahead and unbox the new stove and pull this one out and see about what I'm going to have to do to get the other one put in. And so let's go from there. So this is my new induction stovetop, and it's 120 volts. So it runs on 120 volts, 1800 watts. So what that means is, this is what I think, this is how kind of my other one works. The other one that I just showed you has two different size burners, and one of them would go up to, I can't remember how much wattage. It would go, I think, up to, I don't think it'd go all the way to 1800. It may have. See, it'd go to 13. I think it went up to 18. But with these, you can't run both of them at 1800 watts at the same time. So, but if it goes to 1800 watts, I believe you can probably run them both at 900 watts maximum at the same time. And so, at any rate, this is an Impava, is the company, and 1800 watts. And let's see. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and open this box up, and actually I've already opened it and took it out and looked at it, but I just put it back in here to move it onto the boat. So I'm going to pull it back out again. But I haven't tried it yet. I haven't plugged it in. So I have to get all this stuff out of here. It's really windy today, and I don't want all this stuff blown away and get in the water. And what I like about this new one over my old one is the other one, the printing on the surface of the glass was really hard to see. So this one's a lot better. Here it is. So these are designed that you can just set them on a countertop in your house. And they got little feet on them that they sit on. And I'll be taking those off. They just unscrew. And but here it is. And I love this pot because it was my mom's pot, and she had it probably before I was even born. But everybody cooked with gas in those days. But this bottom here, it's not flat. And so there's an air gap when you set it down around the center. Now the edges touch, but the center doesn't. And so that also could have caused a problem with this induction cooking. So it doesn't sit totally flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a new pot. And from now on, I'm going to try to buy, like I said, if a magnet sticks to the pots that you have, they'll work fine. But they do have pots now that have a little symbol on the package that shows that they're made for induction cooking. So I'll probably get pots and pans that are made for induction cooking. And so the next thing I need to do is I need to pull this stove out. And it just lifts out like this out of that wooden frame. But the metal frame that I have that goes around it, I don't think I can pull it out because of that metal frame's in the way. But it's just screwed in with 4 screws. So I'll probably have to remove that. But that wooden frame that goes around, it also lifts off. So I'm going to just go ahead and lift the whole thing off right now and bring it out here. And then I might have to take the metal frame off before I can put this in and see how well it fits, because the dimensions are a little different on this one. It's a little wider this way and a little narrower this way than the other one. And so we'll see what happens here. At least as I measured it, it appeared to be. So we'll see. They might be exactly the same. I don't know, but I don't think so. So, and the really cool thing about these induction stoves is when you use induction, you can put a pot of water on here. I took a little pot, small pot, when I got my other one, got it and put it in. And I just put about 1 inch of water in it. And I turned it on, and within 20 seconds, that water was boiling. So it heats up really, really fast. And that's good because on a boat, you have limited energy, especially if you're running, you're not in a dock and you don't have shore power and you're relying on maybe solar panels, wind turbines, and a big battery bank. You want to be able to cook as fast as you can to use less energy. This induction stovetop works well for that. And also my Ninja oven, which is a full convection oven. Like I said, I cooked a 15-pound turkey in 1 hour and it was perfect. So that's how easy that comes out. Really easy. I removed some cabinets on one side of my boat to put in an entertainment center. And so I think this was parts of that, actually it was part of the frame that drawers went into. And they had these little hand cutouts so you can reach under the drawer and pull it out. And they just happened to work perfect for this. When I built this, I used those little cutouts so I can put my hands in here and lift this out. Now I don't know if I can get this out through this frame or not. Maybe if I get one side out. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, it comes right out. So I had to build the whole frame system for this stove and oven setup that I have here. So this is all custom made that I built. So I get this out of the way. Now you can see the cord is on the back side here, not in the middle like the other one. Also, the air vents are only on the back side, where the air vents on this one are on the back side, but they also wrap around and there's air vents on the bottom somewhat. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to do a little cleaning in here while I got the stove out. So I'm going to clean the top of the oven and along the edge of the wall there, the bulkhead. I just did some cleaning around the stove area since I had that out. Now I'm going to do a little cleaning around this wooden thing here. If I sand this down and varnish it, it'd look really nice. So let's see if I can get this cord under here. And see if this fits. I don't know if it will. That looks good. It fits. Perfect. Look at that. Sweet. Perfect. Just like the other one. So that's it. Now all I got to do is just set it in here and it's done. I plug it in and I'm ready to go. That simple. So I'll do that now. Fits down in there flat. The cord isn't in the way. I had to cut a notch for the other cord, so that kind of worked out good. Okay, I'm gonna install it, plug it in, and we'll test it out. Okay, there it is. It's all in, it's plugged in, and I got a little pot sitting on there, and I got my pot holders sitting in. These pot holders, they move, and I don't really have to tighten them because any weight on them will cause them to bind here, so they won't move. So they just slide. It makes it real nice. So that holds it right where they need to go. Originally, these pot holders went across this front rail, and it was for the galley-made alcohol stove, and that was what held the pots over the burners. But these, when I took this frame off and I put it, and I went ahead and just screwed it into the wood here, this frame that I made, and then I was trying to figure out how am I going to. I need pot holders to keep the pots from moving around, but they worked out great. I just had to replace these little ends here that tightened because it had an L-shaped adjustment tightening screw, and they were too big to fit in here. So I found these stainless steel little screws here that I put in, and so this is it. So let's have some fun, and I'll show you just how fast it'll boil water. So I'm going to put some water in the pot here. Okay, so I put about 1 inch of water in the bottom of this pot, and I was really careful to make sure the bottom of the pot was dry because, like I said, if you put a wet pot and the bottom of the pot's wet, the water gets on the glass. When the glass heats up, the water will evaporate, and it leaves a mineral deposit on the glass, which is very hard to clean. Other than that, these are real easy to clean. You just wipe them down. You can use like just a wet cloth or a sponge or even a wet paper towel. Works good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And what's cool about these stoves is you have a choice. You can either adjust it by temperature or you can adjust it by wattage. And the wattage is really cool because if you're running on a 12-volt system off your battery bank and and a power inverter or whatever, it's kind of easier to calculate your energy use if it's in wattage. And so that's what's really nice about this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the power on. That's weird. I just heard a fan and it sounded like it was rubbing. That didn't sound good. So there's on and off. Hit the on button. It says pause, simmer, keep warm, melt, temp power, timer, and lock. So I'm going to go with temp power, and I'm at 900 watts, and I'm going to increase it to 1800. Oh wow, this is a lot better than my other one. So let's see how long it takes. I don't have a timer, but you can see it's already getting hot, and it's only been about 5 seconds. Now it's probably been about 10 seconds. Okay, about 20 seconds. And it's got a lot of little bubbles now. Kind of looks like a glass of soda. Okay. It's been about 25. That's about 30 seconds. Okay, it's starting to steam a little bit. It's about 40 seconds. Okay, it's been about 1 minute, and it's already starting to boil. Look at that. That's it. The small pan, 1 inch deep water in there, about 1 inch of water in the bottom, and it's at 1800 watts, which is full power. And there you go. It's at a full boil. So it was a little over a minute. It took probably about a minute and 10 seconds to go to a full boil. And yeah, so that's awesome. Look at that. And I'm just going to go through these different settings here. I'm going to set it to melt. That's auto. I'm going to set it to keep warm. Again, it says auto. There might be a way to adjust it. If there might be a manual way to do it. Let me see. No, it's not going to make a difference. So it's auto. Simmer. But it has these different settings. But you can also set it to temp power. And I thought it used to do, my other one does temperature. I don't know if this one does. It may not. So I'm going to go ahead and take it down. Let me see if I hit this again. Yeah, there you go. So here's the temperature now. So I just had to hit the temp power button. So you have to turn the stove on with this button. Then you've got another power switch that turns this burner on. And then you can adjust the temperature. So if you hit the temperature twice, it goes from wattage, 900 watts, to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. But there you go. So full power is set for 460 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's full power. Now, I'm going to go ahead and shut this one off. And let's see, it's already stopped boiling. Now I'm just going to set it on this burner and we'll test this burner. So it's going to boil right away because the water's already hot. So I turn the power on this side. Hit the power temp button. It's 900 watts. Uh-oh. That's a problem. Do you hear that? That fan is dragging. It's hitting something. That's not good. Crap. I'm going to have to... I'm a technician by trade, so I should be able to fix that problem. It sounds to me like it's just rubbing up against something. I'm gonna have to take it back out and look at it and see what the problem is. But I'm gonna run through the temperatures real quick here. So go all the way up to 1800. This one, yeah, it goes all the way to 1800, just like the other one. So they're the same. And I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off now because I don't like the sound of that. And it's going to keep running until it cools down. It might actually wear its way in, so it'll stop making that noise. But it sounds like it's rubbing up against something, so I'm going to check it out. Hopefully it's not a wire, an internal wire or something it's rubbing up against, because that would be really bad. So I'm going to have to figure out what the hell is going on with this thing. I'm sure I can probably fix it myself. I really do not want to send it back. I don't like sending anything back when I buy stuff, if I can help it. So I'm just going to go ahead and move this off here so it'll cool down faster. And then the fan should shut off by itself. It's probably just rubbing up against the housing. So there you go. I'll have to look into that problem. And I guess I'll do that right now and see what's up with that. I hate to take this all back out. Okay, see, it's shut down, so that's good. So yeah, I can probably move the fan with my finger or stick something in the vent hole and move it and see what it's rubbing up against. Hopefully it's not a wire. That would be really bad. Wow. So what a bummer. Get something brand new and then have to have a problem with it. But you can see it says H right here. I set this back on here. And the reason for the H is it just tells you that you got something hot sitting here. If I put it over here, it'll probably do the same thing on this side. I don't know. Let's see if it'll come back on. Yeah, I couldn't even hear the fan on this side. I'm not even sure if it was running. That might be another problem. I don't know. Let's see. Can I reach under here? Yeah, I can reach under here. I can feel the fan. Let me turn this on and see if I can feel any air blowing on this one. Let me turn this back on. And power. And turn it up to full. Yeah, I hear the fan. It's running. And I feel air. Okay. That's good. Now I'm going to... I know the other fan's running because you could hear it, but I'm going to put my hand under there. Okay, so I put my hand underneath the stove here, and I could feel the fans running. So both fans work. It's just this one on the left side is noisy, and it's definitely rubbing up against something. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out right now and look at it and see if I can see what's going on. I don't want to have to take this apart. I might have to fix that fan noise. Yeah, it's I mean, it's probably okay, other than it's just noisy. But it's definitely rubbing up against something. So I'm going to have to see if I can tell what it's rubbing up against. So I think I'll go ahead and pull it out right now and look at it. Okay, I'm going to pull it back out. I hate to have to do this, but it's going to have to be done. Because I got to know what's going on with this thing. Okay, I can see the fan now. It looks like it just snaps in. Yeah, it's not hitting any wires, so that's a good thing. It's just rubbing up against the housing somewhere. But yeah, there's definitely no wires in the way, so that's not a problem. So that's what I was worried about. What'll probably happen is it'll eventually just wear in. It'll get quieter as it runs. But it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem. It's definitely not a safety problem. So I think I'm okay. So yeah, it's I don't think I have to worry about it. It's just going to be annoying. At least I'll know that burner's on, because it'll make noise. So here it is, my Impava 1800 watt 2-burner induction stovetop, 120 volts. And probably be cooking a lot of fine meals with this, because I sure did with my other one. I do like cooking, and so I enjoy it, and I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy eating what I cook. Fortunately, I do tend to like what I cook. I know I do have the same problem my mom had. By the time I get done handling food, sometimes I don't feel like eating it. So, but for the most part, I'm not too bad at cooking, and which is a good thing. And try to eat healthy as I can. So I'll probably cook some miso soup on here tonight to try it out, because I do cook a lot of miso soup, and it's really good for you. If you found this video to be helpful or entertaining, please like and subscribe.